had a conversation with a dad last week. Smart guy, engineer, runs a team of about 40 people. He sat across from me in my office, looked me dead in the eye, and said this: Mark, I've not felt this stupid since I was 14 years old. Well, he wasn't joking. He was actually telling me with the kind of honesty that only comes from a parent who has finally given up pretending that the college admissions process his daughter is going through has made him feel like a foreigner in his own kid's life. He's not the only one. Welcome to Question Mark on College, where we cut through the noise of college admissions so families can actually breathe again. I'm Mark Cruver, founder of Capstone Educational Consultants, and today we're talking about something almost nobody names out loud. What happens when the map you have in your head no longer matches the territory your kid is actually walking through? The generational knowledge gap, what parents feel, why parents feel useless, and what you can actually do about it. Now, so let me start with my own story because I think it'll land for some of you. When I applied to college, and yes, this is going to date me a little bit, I went to a college fair, walked away with a stack of view books and brochures that measured nearly 20 inches tall. I took it home. I sorted through it for about 2 weeks on my bedroom floor, and I picked one. I filled out a paper application in about an hour. I licked a stamp, and I mailed it, and then I waited. That was it. Now, here's the thing. Some of you parents are thinking to yourself, yeah, that's basically exactly what I did, right? You picked two or three schools, maybe four if you were ambitious. You mailed in the apps, you waited for the envelope, the big envelope you got in, the skinny envelope you didn't. Now, let me tell you what your kid will be doing in just a few months. Your kid will be logging into multiple application platforms, the Common App, maybe the Coalition app, and sometimes even the school's proprietary system. They're going to write a personal statement that will be reviewed by an admissions reader for, well, on average, about less than 8 minutes. That's according to the Wall Street Journal investigation that profiled committee based review at Bucknell, Georgia Tech, Rice, and others. Your kid will be asked by individual schools to write supplemental essays, sometimes one, sometimes five, for every school on their list who requires one. And the typical Common App student now submits 6.6 applications. The ambitious ones now, they submit 12, 15, and sometimes even 20. Now, the Common Application started with only 15 colleges in 1975. Today, it serves more than 1,100 institutions. Harvard accepted 11.8% of its applicants in 1995. For the class of 2029, the rate was 4.2%. And here's what most people don't even know: that's not because Harvard got harder, it's because the same kid is now applying to Harvard, to Yale, to Princeton, Stanford, MIT, and a dozen other schools. The application pool has grown faster than the actual class size, which has stayed roughly the same. So here's the question I want you to sit with for a second. In the process, if the process has changed this much, why on earth would your experience be a useful guide? It wouldn't, and it isn't. This is what I call the generational knowledge gap. And if you're feeling it, it's because it's real. According to the National Center for Educational Statistics, about 38% of current undergraduates are first generation students, meaning their parents never attended college. So a huge number of families are navigating this process without any institutional knowledge at all. But here's the part that surprised me when I started looking at the numbers. The parents who did go to college aren't doing much better because the process they remember has been so completely renovated that having walked it yourself 20 or 30 years ago gives you almost nothing useful for what your kid is going through now. Now, let me be real for just a second. This is an this is a problem, but it's not the problem most parents think it is. Most parents come to me thinking the problem is, well, I don't know enough. So they try to learn more. They read books, they join Facebook groups, they watch YouTube videos at 2 a.m. about how to crack the Common App. That's not the problem. The problem is that they're trying to play the wrong position on the team. Here's what I want you to understand. There are essentially three roles that need to be filled in your student's college admissions process. And almost no parent fills all three well because no parent can. Role number one, that's the strategist, the one who understands the current admissions landscape, knows what schools are looking for, knows how early decision differs from restrictive early action, knows how a 1380 SAT plays at this school versus that school. That's a full time job. That's why people like me exist. Role number two, that's the essay coach, the one who can read a student's draft, understand what makes admissions readers care, push the student to dig deeper without writing it for them. Also a specialty. Role number three, and this is the one I want to talk about for the rest of this episode, is the emotional architecture of the senior year. The steady presence, the financial decision maker, the person who notices when your kid hasn't slept in 3 days and intervenes, the person who can drive to Athens for a campus visit on a Saturday, the person who, when the first deferral letter comes in, doesn't lecture, but instead orders pizza and sits on the couch. That role, you are irreplaceable. Let me give you an example. I had a family last year. Mom is a lawyer, dad is a physician, both are Ivy League. So when their daughter started the application process, both of them tried to be role one, the strategist. They debated school lists, they argued about early decision strategy, they both had opinions about the essay. By December, their daughter had stopped talking to them about college, not because she was being a teenager, because she couldn't get a single piece of input from them that didn't come with a critique attached. We pulled the parents out of the strategy seat, both of them. I took that role. We renegotiated their job. Mom became the campus visit logistics person. Dad became the financial reality check. They stopped editing essays, thank goodness, and they started asking questions. By March, their daughter was talking to them again. By April, she got into her first choice. And here's the part the parents told me afterwards. We thought we needed to do more. We needed to do less, but better. You may think this family actually lives at your house under a different name, and it's very well true. But here's what I want you to actually take from this particular episode: the process you remember, let it go, not your story. Your story is yours forever. But let go of the idea that your story tells you anything useful about what your kid is actually doing. Then ask yourself, which of the three roles are you really equipped to play? Because I promise you, the answer is the third one. Your kid does not need you to be smarter about admissions than she is. Your kid needs you to be the rock when everything else feels like sand. I get asked about this all the time. So let me hit the three questions I hear most. Question number one, Mark, what if I genuinely have college admissions expertise? I work in higher ed. I know this stuff. My answer, great. Find another family's kid to help. With your own kid, the relationship will eat the expertise alive every single time. I've seen this dozens of times. The dynamic is too charged. Hire someone else for your kid. Be the parent. Second question, what if my student wants my opinion? Well, my answer is then give it, but give it carefully. Frame your input as one data point, not the answer. Here's how I see it. I could be wrong. What do you think? That's powerful. You should apply early decision to Vanderbilt because that's how it worked when I applied. That's not. Question number three. Isn't hiring help a luxury most families can't afford? Well, my answer here is I hear this one a lot, right? And I want to be honest with you. Not every family can hire a private consultant, and that's a real thing. But there's free and low cost help available that many families never tap into. Your school's college counselor. Yes, even at a busy public high school is a resource. Local libraries often have college planning programs, free webinars, books at the public library. The point isn't, quote, you must hire someone like Mark. The point is, don't try to be the strategist when your information is 25 years out of date. Find someone, paid or free, who has current information. And speaking of resources, I don't know if you know, but I'm releasing my new book called Before You Tour Another College on June 17th, 2026. It's written specifically for parents who feel exactly like the dad I described at the beginning of this episode: stupid, disoriented, wanting to help, not knowing where to start. You can grab the first chapter free at capstoneed.com. You can get a head start before the book even drops in June. Now, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss an episode. If this one helped you, share it with another parent who's drowning right now. And remember, the goal isn't a perfect college process. The goal is a smooth arrival. I'll see you next time.